Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Who Is type of video. Going to be giving my thoughts on a huge character that's going to be coming up in the Walking Dead television series, probably in Season 7, and that is answering the question, who is Ezekiel? So this is one character spotlight type of video I definitely wanted to do because Ezekiel is basically the biggest character that we haven't seen thus far in the Walking Dead comic book series to be shown in the television series that should be coming up in the next little while. We've already seen Dwight in the television series. We already know about Negan and when we're going to see him, but the character we don't know about, as well as Paul Monroe. But we don't know when we're going to see Ezekiel appear in the television series. If I had to put probably a season on it, I don't think it's going to be season 6, probably be season 7, most likely in what would be either halfway or the second half of season 7. Because I feel like they may have to fill out season 7 a little bit because season 6's pacing has been so fast. So Ezekiel is a really cool character. He's kind of like a Rick for another group. He is leader of his own group, which he calls the Kingdom, and he basically resides as their kind of charismatic leader king. He's got some interesting things about him. He does use a sword, similar to Michonne in a lot of ways, which actually looks like a cane. Kind of plays up to the whole kingdom type of theme, so to speak. He's got a flair for the dramatic, I suppose. He does have a tiger, which is fun. Which on the Walking Dead issue 108, the cover, he is donning, and it is his first appearance where he is shown with his pet tiger Shiva. So the first appearance of him, issue 108, The Walking Dead, the Wiki describes him as, he is a self-proclaimed king of a community called the Kingdom. The namesake of his own community, Ezekiel, has a pet named Shiva the tiger. Ezekiel is a friend of the Hilltop Colony and a close friend to Paul Monroe, who we're going to meet in the second half of The Walking Dead Season 6, which has already been confirmed. He also has a strong hatred for Negan and the Saviors, which caused Paul to bring Rick Grimes to him in the hopes of collaborating all together to defeat the Saviors. Here's what issue 108's cover looks like. Really, really cool cover. Like you have Shiva there at the back at the bottom. Then you have Ezekiel there kind of sitting on his throne, so to speak, in the Kingdom, which is a pretty large community. So going into season 7 probably, or at least season 8 when they bring in, depending on when they bring in the Kingdom, we will have Alexandria as a large community. Rick's community, of course, now at this point, because, of course, what happened with Deanna and Douglas in the comic book series version. We have the Hilltop, which is another community that we're going to be seeing in the second half of season 6, and then we have the Kingdom, which is a third community led by Ezekiel, which will probably come in sometime season 7, maybe second half season 7. Of course, in addition to that, we have our villain sort of community, which is the Saviors, led by Negan, and so we're getting to see a larger world type of view now for the Walking Dead universe, rather than just having one kind of group. This is even bigger, in some ways similar to season 3 with Woodbury, where we have a couple different communities now, or at least Woodbury was more like a community, the prison was more like a small survivor group. But at this time, we're getting to basically see 4 huge communities, of many people, in total hundreds of different survivors, and how they all interact with each other, how they're going to all work together. And once Rick's group finds out what Negan does, he, of course, is going to meet Jesus from the Hilltop, and they're going to basically find out that there are, these 3 groups that are being controlled by the one group, the Saviors, to give half of their stuff to Negan and to the Saviors. And, Ezekiel hates that, so he can't wait, of course, to meet Rick, who is a person who he can kind of team up with, in addition to the Hilltop, to form a resistance to fight back against Negan and the Saviors. So in terms of his personality, so the Wiki says Ezekiel is an eccentric, affable, and somewhat flamboyant old man. It has him placed between his 50s and 60s. He is charismatic and possesses an aura of wisdom. He is perceived by many as arrogant due to his theatrics as the quote-unquote king of his people, and Ezekiel admits such views to be somewhat true. Ezekiel is a very confident, he is very confident in his presence. He generally keeps a cool head and a friendly demeanor, reveling in the respect that others have for him. However, he is revealed to be relatively insecure, as seen during the all-out war and his post-time skip relationship with Michonne. This insecurity juxtaposes his outward appearance and his wishes for his subjects to not see him as weak. He is very optimistic, but he takes failures very hard. So he is a really, really fun character all around because he does have that kind of charismatic side to him, which makes him a charismatic leader. And at the same time, I would say he's pretty tough, of course, at least at the beginning of All Out War. Once he starts seeing his people being killed off, he starts to question his decisions. You know, is it a good decision to team up with Rick and the others and to try to kill Negan and the Saviors? You know, in war, you're never going to have true war where there's absolutely no casualties on one side and only casualties on the other side, no matter how close or how outmanned or outgunned or outnumbered you have the enemy. When it comes to a long war with that many people, you're going to have casualties on both sides, and he's very compassionate towards his other members of the Hilltop, towards his people that he leads, and he starts to question his decisions after a while when it seems like they may or may not win. They can't tell for sure 100% that they're going to win against Negan and the Saviors, because they are proving to be a lot stronger than he probably at first would have anticipated them to be. Negan, of course, is not just going to roll over and play dead, so to speak. So he's a really fun character to read in the Walking Dead comic book series. I can't wait to see Shiva the tiger and how they're going to incorporate her into the television series. That's something we've talked about for quite a while, is how are they going to make a tiger in the Walking Dead work in the television show, which should be interesting. You know, some people had the idea maybe they'll change it to some other kind of animal or something. Some people think they'll get a trained tiger and just kind of use it here and there sparingly and also carefully, because they don't want to hurt any of the extras who, of course, play the zombies or the walkers in the television series, with some tiger mauling them down or just smoking them or something. And that does bring so interesting aspects to Ezekiel, that he does have this pet tiger, something totally different and very comic booky, which The Walking Dead usually tends to avoid. In this case, I like it, and it makes a lot of sense that he would become the leader, because let's be honest here, would you mess with a guy who had a tiger? Probably not. We don't know what he did pre-zombie apocalypse. It has it listed on the wiki that maybe he was a zookeeper or something of the sort, and that's where he got his tiger, and he's been with Shiva ever since she was newborn. He also has a relationship with Michonne in the comic book series, which may be changed in the TV series. We don't know for sure if we're going to see that, as they have changed a lot of the relationships throughout the show already. So it's not for sure, but I do like the way they play off each other, because Michonne is so tough and Ezekiel is so charismatic and caring and compassionate, that the two of them are opposites when it comes to a relationship. They're opposites in that way, and it makes them very, very interesting, in that situation. So very cool stuff upcoming from the Walking Dead television series, of course, with when they incorporate Ezekiel. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see the tiger and what they do. And we'll do a video, I think, talking about who would be the best candidates to play Ezekiel, because there are so many different options for AMC. And maybe we'll talk about some of the ones that we think are the best. So send me your guys' suggestions for who you think would be best to play Ezekiel in the television series. Write some comments below on what you think would be best to see, or what you're waiting for most to see from him in the TV series. And, of course, if you like this kind of Who Is video, where I explain a Walking Dead comic book character to you guys, and a lot of you guys don't read the series, so you can look forward to this character now and you know a little bit about his background without knowing too much. So please try to keep the spoilers at bay in the comments to not ruin anyone else's experience, should they go the same route with the character as they did in the comic book series, even though it should be a bit different. So If you guys like the video, you can thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, you can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, don't you be no fool, subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's Walking Dead video for you guys. Going to get back into, the daily stuff again now that Christmas is over and the holidays. So not wasting any time. We get right back to it, lock it in each day as we go. That's it for this one, guys. Write your comments below. Let me know what you think. Do the thumbing up and all the other good stuff. See you guys again tomorrow. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace.